Hey guys, this video is a brief introduction to Git software. Git today is one of the most important tools for the developers. Git is basically a version control system for tracking the changes in the computer files and also coordinating the work on those files among multiple people. So it is primarily used for source code management in software development, but it can also be used for keeping the track of changes in any set of files. So this video is intended for anyone who has little or no knowledge about Git. So in this video, we'll be covering all the important aspects related to Git that should be known to a programmer. So let's get started. So first of all, let's take a look at the brief history of the Git. Git is not too old. It was created by Linus Torvalds. Yes, the same person who created the Linux kernel in 2005. And the main reason for the creation of Git was the development of the Linux kernel only, because there was no good, you can say, the version control system in those days for the development, and that's why Linus Torvalds went on making Git so that it can help in the development of the Linux kernel so that multiple people can contribute to it. And right now, its current maintainer since 2005 is Junio Hamano. So in the starting of the video, I told you that Git is a version control system, but what actually is a version control system? So a version control system is basically a category of software tools which help a software team to manage the changes to the source code over time. So the version control software will keep the track of all the modifications that you make to your code by keeping track of those changes in a special kind of a database. So that is what a version control system is, and Git is one of those. You can say most better of those. Okay, so now there are two types of version control systems. First one is centralized and another one is distributed. Let's take a bit of understanding about them first. So in a centralized version control system, there is a central repository. By repository, I mean your project folders plus a database which contains all the information related to those files in your project. So that is a central repository in this case. And if you want to work on the project, what you will do, what you will be doing is that you will be getting a working copy of the repository in your local PC, and then you will do some changes, you will edit the files, and once you're done with that, you will commit your changes back to the repository. So in this way, a centralized version control system works. There is a single central repository and all other working copies are stored in the local PC. You do the work, then you commit them, and if another person has done some work and you want to have their work which has been updated in the repository, what you will do, you will have to update your working copy through that repository. So in this way, a centralized version control system works. But there are a few problems here. The problem is that every time any change that you make, you have to commit it directly to the central repository. Wouldn't it be better if you have a local version of the repository where you can do the updates and the commits instead of all the time pushing that into the central repository? And this problem was taken care of by distributed version control systems. So in a distributed version control system, every user has their own local repository like this. So every user has their own local repository, and whenever they want to work over their project, they make a working copy out of it in which they do any kind of changes, editing the file, and then they commit those changes back to their local repository. And now if you want to push your changes to the central repository or any repository on some other machine, what you do is you simply push your changes to this repository. And if any other person has pushed their changes to that repository and you want to use them, then you can simply pull those changes. So this is a much flexible way, and this is a more distributed kind of thing, and that's why we call it a distributed version control system. And no guessing, Git is a distributed version control system. So let's move on. Now, the goals of Git. So what are the fundamental goals of Git which its developers are trying to achieve? The three goals are the performance, security, and flexibility. Performance simply is in the terms of the algorithms which are there, which are used when you are trying to commit any changes to a repository, or you're trying to do any kind of different functions, or let's say you're trying to compare any two versions of your files in the history. So all those kind of operations require some algorithms, and they were quite slow in the old version control systems, and that is what Git has optimized. It is much faster. Another thing is security. So security is in the terms of that no malicious or accidental changes should distort the history of your files, and in that way Git has secured your let's say complete project by a cryptographically secure hashing algorithm which is called SHA-1. So Git is quite secure, and it is very difficult for anyone to change the history, and always the history is fully traceable. By traceable we mean that we can go back to any point in the history using it. So that is security. And third point is flexibility. Flexibility is in the terms of, let's say, the distributed version of Git that we saw. Other than that, you can use it in both small and large projects. It is compatible with many existing systems and protocols. And also there is a concept of something called branches, which helps you to do non-linear development. You do not need to be just adding commits over commits. You can also use the concept of branching, in which you can take some single commit and you can make a branch from there on and then do work on some other feature. So all those kind of things come under flexibility. So these are the three fundamental goals of Git, or these are the fundamental goals of any version control system. So we are done with them. So now the question comes, how does Git look like? Where does Git store your information, right? So if you got a project folder, what you have to do is you have to convert it to a Git repository. And how do you do that? You do that by initializing a Git repository in your project folder. And once you do that, a .git folder gets created in your project folder, which contains all the information. It tracks all the changes which are made to your project. So in this way, Git will store all the information related to your project. Okay, so now let's take a look at what local operations which we can do on our project folder using Git. So one thing that we need to know is that there is something called a Git directory, which we saw earlier, .git, which contains all the information about your project. Now, whenever you are trying to edit any file, what happens is that it gets in a area which we call as working directory. For Git, that area is called working directory, where the files are being edited, they are being modified. And now once you have done all kind of changes, what you can do is you can stage those changes. You can stage your files in another area which is called a staging area. So in the staging area, you haven't saved your files, but you know that these are the files that I'm gonna save. So once you have put all those files in the staging area, you can do a commit. By commit we mean that we are gonna try to create a let's say a record about the changes that you made till now in a given set of files. So in this way, your Git directory again becomes consistent and no other file is modified at that moment. So in this way, local operations happen. You just start editing the file, you stage the files, and then you commit those files. And in this way it works. So now, what happens to a file in a complete life cycle when we are using Git? Let's try to understand. The first thing is that a file can have four, you can say, modes in Git. So first is untracked. Untracked means that Git doesn't know anything about that file. Git doesn't care about that file. In that case, we call it untracked. Then there is unmodified, which means that no changes have happened in the file since last commit was made over that file. Okay, and then there is modified, which means that the file is in the working directory. Some changes have been made to that file which haven't been saved. And then there is staged. The file can be in staged status as well, in which we mean that we have staged the file, which means that the file is ready to be committed. Okay, so now let's try to see what happens at all these stages. So when the file is untracked, you can simply say that you have just initialized a Git repository in your project folder. At that moment, all the files are untracked. You have to add those files to the Git repo. How do you do that? That will be learning in the demo which we're gonna see later. But right now you understand that you add the files to Git, and right now all the files are in unmodified state because we have saved all the changes till now. Now what you do is you edit the file. Now, as you edit the file, the status of the file becomes modified. And when you have edited the file and you want to save the changes, you first stage the file. By staging, we keep it at some staging area so that we can check what all changes we have made till now and how are we going to commit them with some specific message. So once you have staged the files, you can commit them, and again the status of the file becomes unmodified. So in this way, the status of the file keeps changing while you keep working. And also you can anytime remove the file from the Git repository as well. Now, as I had told you that Git is a distributed version control system, so you can have a local repository, you can also have a remote repository. So how do you deal between local and remote repository? Now, in order to do that, you have something called a push and a pull. So whenever you have a local repository and you have done some changes to your local repository, and the same version of that local repository is there somewhere on some other website, then what you do is you can just push your changes to that remote repository. And also, let's say your friend has pushed some changes to the remote repo and you want to have them to yourself, then you do not need to download anything from anywhere. You can simply do a very simple command called git pull, and you'll be able to pull all those commits that your friend made in the remote repository, and then you can have them in your local repository. So in this way, the dealing between local and remote keeps working. Okay, so this was all about the basics of Git, and now we are going to look at some practical examples. Downloading Git for desktop is quite simple actually. All you have to do is a very simple Google search. You can simply write download Git, and the first link that you'll find is the official website from which you can download Git. It's git-scm.com/downloads. So here you will find various options of different operating systems on which you can download the Git software. In case of Mac OS and Windows, you will find a directly downloadable executable installer, but in the case of Linux operating systems, you will get several options of different commands that you can do on different Linux distributions in order to install Git. So for example, in case of Ubuntu systems, you can do apt-get install Git. So this command will install Git software on your let's say Ubuntu system. Once you have installed Git, you can check if your installation was done successfully or not by typing a very simple command, which is git --help, which will provide you a very nice help message which explains different commands which are available under Git. And once that is working fine, it means that you have installed Git successfully. Now, the first and foremost thing that you need to do while you have installed Git is to set some configurations. So you can do git config --global user.name. So this is basically setting the username for the user who is using the Git software while working on any type of Git repository, because Git needs to create a record, it needs to maintain a history of which user did what action while working on any repository. So in order to do that, Git must know the username and the user email who is taking all those actions. So we can set that globally, like who is the user who is trying to use Git software while working on some repositories. And you can do it like this: git config --global, which means I'm doing this particular thing in the global scope, and then the username, which I'm setting as, let's say, Nikhil Kumar Singh, and also the email. So username and user email are two different things which you need to set up separately. So I'm setting them here. Let's say nikhil@gmail.com. So in this way, I have set up my username and my user email. You can always check what is the currently configured username and user email by doing git config user.name, which is Nikhil Kumar Singh right now, and email, which is nikhil@gmail.com. So in this way, you configure username and user email for your Git software. Okay, so now we are ready to start working with Git, as we have installed Git and we have configured it as well. So now in my desktop, I have a folder called my project 1, which is my project folder, which contains a file called hello.py, right? So now if I just try to see where I'm right now, so I'm in the project folder right now, and what files do I have here? I have hello.py file here, right? And now let me see the contents of hello.py. So it's a very simple statement called print hello world in my file right now. So this is the status of my project right now. And now in order to convert my project folder into a Git repository, I need to initialize a Git repository here. And how do I do that? In order to do that, you have to do git init. So this is the first and the most basic command that you need to know, that you have to initialize Git repository in your project folder. And you have to do that by being at the root of your project folder. So now it is saying that it initialized an empty Git repository in /home /nikhil /desktop this is my project folder /.git. So a folder called .git got created. If you just try to see some hidden folders here, look at that, there is this .git folder which contains a lot of information, right? So now let's try to see what is the status of Git repository right now. So in order to know the status of the Git repository at any time, you can do git status. So right now, according to git status, I am on the branch master. A branch is nothing but a sequence of commits, and right now I am on a default branch which is called master, which has no commits yet. So right now there are no commits in my Git repository. And also the untracked files, there is a single untracked file which is called hello.py. So as I had told you earlier that the files can have 4 type of modes. Right now the mode of my file is untracked. So now what I can do is I can add my file hello.py to the staging area. So how do I do that? In order to do that, you have to do git add and then the name of the file that you want to add to the staging area. So now I have added it. So now let me check the status again. Git status. Look at that. I am still on the branch master. No commits have been made yet right now, but there are some changes to be committed. Changes to be committed means that there is something on the staging area, and that is a new file called hello.py. So I have a new file called hello.py on my staging area. So now what I can do is I can create a commit, git commit -m. -m is a parameter in which you have to provide some kind of commit message so that your commit becomes a bit descriptive, so that just by seeing the commit message you know that why you made that particular commit. So right now I'm making the commit as initial. I'm calling it initial commit. So that's as simple as that. And look at that, what it got me. It says that one file changed, one insertion was made, a mode was created for hello.py which will keep track of my file whenever any changes are made to it, and also a commit has been made whose initial symbols of my commit ID are these. So now how do I know that what commits I have made till date? So now to do that, you have to do git log. So git log will provide you all the commits that you have made till now on this particular branch. And as we can see that we have made a commit whose cryptographic hash ID is this particular value, and also the author is this. So as you must remember that this author has been obtained through the git config thing that we did earlier, and also the date and the time at which this particular commit was made, right? And this is the commit message. And also one thing to notice here is that there is something written here called head is on the master, which simply means that right now the cursor, as in where we are right now, what is the status of our files right now, is on the top of this commit, which means that all the files are according to this particular commit. So we are on the head of the branch master. So that is what it means. So right now we are done with our first commit. We have added the files to the staging area, then we committed it by giving a commit message, and that's good to start. So now till now we have made some we have initialized a git repository, we have learned how to add files to the staging area, then we learned how to commit our changes, and now let's try to see how do we edit the file and then add those changes to our git repo. So let's see what is the status right now. Right now the status is that I am on the branch master and there is nothing to commit. The working tree is clean. Working tree is clean means my working directory has no files there right now. It is totally clean. So now let's say we want to change our hello.py file a bit. Let's say I want to add some comment. Let's say this is a comment. So I made some changes to my project, and now let me check the git status. So the git status says that I'm on the branch master, and there are some changes which are not staged for commit because they are in the working tree right now. They are in the working directory right now. And what is the type of those files? That file's type is that it is modified. It has been modified. Its name is called hello.py. And now what I can do is I can add them to my staging area. So I can do that by doing git add. And now look at the one thing that here, that if you want to add all the files which are present in the working directory in one go, then you can do git add dot. It will add all the files that you have in your working directory to the staging area. So now let's check the git status again. Look at that. I'm on the branch master, and I have there are some changes to be committed because I have added it to the staging area. And now what I can do here is that I can commit it, git commit -m, let's say added a comment. So this is my commit message. And now let us try to see git status now. So the git status had now again become I'm on the branch master. There is nothing to commit. The working tree is clean. Why? Because I have committed those changes. So now let's check the git log here. So look at that. The git log now shows me that there are two commits. This was the first commit, which was the initial commit, and now there is another commit which has added a comment. And another thing to note here again is that the head of my git repository is again on the head of the branch master. The cursor of our git repo is on this particular commit, which is the latest commit. So in this way we are able to add new changes and commit them in our git repo. Okay, now let us consider that I want to see how my file looked at a certain stage in the history. Like I want to review a particular commit. I want to see the status or the contents of my file at some particular stage in the history of my Git repo. So let's see what is the status of our Git repo right now. I'm on the branch master. There's nothing commit. The working tree is clean, and the hello.py file right now it looks like this. It has the latest change that we made to it. And now let us try to see what we can do here. If I just do git log, I see that there are two commits. This is the latest commit, and then this is the initial commit. So let's say I want to see how my file hello.py used to look when it was initially committed, like when this commit was made, how my file used to look. So in order to do that, I have to check out to this particular commit. And how do I do that? I can do that by just specifying that I want to check out to this particular commit. And in order to do that, you can simply copy first few characters of this commit ID, and then you can simply do git checkout, and then those first few characters of the commit ID. Git will be able to understand which commit you are talking about. So now let us see what happens. It is saying that I'm in the detached head state. By detached head, we mean that the cursor of my Git repo is not on the latest commit, it is on some other commit, and that's why we are saying that we are in the detached head state. And now let us see what we can do here. Git status. Git status is right now is that I am not on the branch master. Actually, I'm in the branch master, but I am in a detached head state. I'm not on the top commit of my branch master. And now let's see the status of the hello.py, which was our main goal. Look at that. It is the older version of my file, which was print hello world. So in this way, I'm able to see how my file used to look when I had made that initial commit. So in this way, you can review your old commits. Okay, so let's consider a scenario here now. Till now, we have been working only on the master branch, which is the default branch of any Git repository. And in the master branch, we already have two commits, which is C1 and C2. And we also know that we can always go back to the commit C1 whenever we want, right? And now let's consider a scenario that your team is consistently adding new changes to your project, small changes to your project along the master branch only. Like those changes are being committed in the master branch only, but also you have planned to add a new feature to your project, but also you do not want that new feature to conflict with the small changes that you are making every day in your master branch. So in that case, what you can do is that you can do something like this. You can create a new branch, and from C2 there on, you can just start working over your feature, and all the commits for your new feature will be a part of the new branch only. and at some later stage when you feel that now your feature is ready and and now it can be added to the master branch, then you can simply merge it, which we'll be seeing later how to do the merging of branches. But right now let us try to understand how to create this new branch, right? So let's try to see that. So right now, the git status says that we are in a detached head state because we had went to the commit C1, you can say the initial commit. So let me just check out to the master. Git checkout master will take you to the latest commit of your master branch. So now git status says that I'm on the branch master, there is nothing to commit, the working tree is clean. Now let us try to see how do we get all the branches that we have in our git repo. So look at that. Right now I have only the master branch. Since it is green, it means that this is my active branch. I am currently in this branch, and asterisk also means the same thing. So git branch will give you all the branches that you have in your git repository and which branch you are currently on in your git repository. Now the thing is that I want to create a new branch from here. So how do I do that? In order to do that, all you have to do is you have to do git checkout hyphen b. Hyphen b means you want to create a new branch and just give a name to that branch. Let me call it new hyphen branch. So now it is saying that I have switched to a new branch which is called new hyphen branch. So now let us try to see git branch. Look at that. It is saying that I have two branches, master and new branch, and right now I am on new branch. So in this way we have created a new branch and we have moved to that branch as well. But this branch, let us try to see the log of this branch. The log of this branch is same. It is saying that the head is the same for both new branch and the master, which means that the branch new branch and the branch master, the latest commit for both these branches is the same, which according to us is C2, right? As we can see here. So now let's say I want to add a new commit in my new branch. So what I can do is I can simply do some changes to my file called hello.py. So let's say I have, this is a new this is a comment, right? So let me make it, this is a new comment. So I just did some changes to my file, and now let me check the git status. So the git status says that I'm on the branch, new branch, and there are some changes which are not staged for commit, which says that a file called hello.py has been modified. So now what I can do is I can simply add it, git add, let me just add everything that I have here, and now git commit hyphen m, and in here I will give some message. Let me call it, this is a modified comment. So here I did some changes to my file, and now let us try to check the git status. So according to git status, I'm on the branch, new branch, and there is nothing to commit, working tree is clean. And let me check the git log. So look at that, the git log now is stating here that the new branch has a new commit, which is, this is a modified comment, and this is the latest commit in my branch, new branch. And also it is also telling me that the latest commit of the master branch according to git repo is this one. So in this way we are able to understand that which is the latest commit in each branch that we have, and also what is the git log for my current branch. The git log for my current branch is this particular log, which is initial commit, added a comment, and then this particular, yani C1, C2 and F1. So in this way we are able to add a new commit to our new branch. And let us now just move on to git checkout master. So now let me do git checkout master. Now I am at master branch, and now let me try git log. Look at that, git log in my master branch is showing only 2 commits. What does this mean? It means that when I'm in the branch master, all I know is that I have only 2 commits, and the latest commit for me is C2. So in this way, this is my master branch which has no idea about the new feature that I'm trying to create. Why? Because that is a part of the new branch. So this is the basic logic behind the branches, and we can use it in different ways. So now let me just see how can I check out to the my new branch again. So git checkout new branch, and now git log, and I got all the 3 branches, right? So in this way we can create a new branch. So now, just to make the things a bit more complicated, we are gonna just add a new commit in our master branch. And now, as we know that new branch will have no idea about C3. So let us try to do that now. So right now we are get status. Right now we are in the on the branch new branch. Let me do git checkout master, and now in the master branch let me just do some kind of changes to my hello.py program. So now I'm just gonna do print 1 plus 1, something like this. Okay, so in this way I have edited my file hello.py, and now the git status says that I am on the branch master and the file hello.py has been modified. So I'm just gonna add hello.py, and now I'm just make a commit, git commit have -m, added new statement. Let's say this is my commit message, and now get status says that I'm on the branch master, nothing to commit, working tree is clean. Let us just check out the log. Look at that. In the git log we can see that we have 3 commits: the initial commit, then we had add a comment, and then we have now added new statement, which means that we have created C3. Okay, so we have got C3 here. So now let us just try to see what is the git log for new branch right now. So let me just git check out new branch, and now let me check the git log. Look at that. Git log doesn't know about my added a new statement commit. It only knows about initial commit, and then added a comment, and then this is a modified comment which was our F1 commit, right? So in this way new branch is there, and then master also have its own set of commits. So now the question comes is that how can I merge my branches? By merging I mean that I want to do something like this. I am right now at C3, I am at F1, and now I want to simply bring the changes of new branch into my master branch. So all the commits till F1 will now be merged with all the commits that are made in the master branch till now. Like C3 and F1 are now gonna get merged, and we are gonna get a new commit, a new special commit, which is which is created due to merging of the latest commits of the 2 branches. So now how can we do that? Let's try to see. It's actually quite simple. So first of all we will have to go to that branch in which we want the merging to happen. So let me just check out to master, and now all I have to do is git merge new branch. So now git merge new branch, what is it gonna do? It is gonna merge the latest commit of my new branch with my latest commit of my branch master. And now look at that. What is it saying? It is saying that this is my okay, so this is my merge message, which is by default it is saying that I'm trying to do merge branch new branch. So this is actually a commit message for my commit M1. So for my commit M1 this is the message, and I'm just gonna exit from here, and look at that, merge was made, merge has been made. So let us try to see how does our file hello.py look right now. Vim hello.py, look at that, this is a new comment, print hello world, print 1 plus 1. Look at that, here it was written, or it was earlier it was written this is a comment, and now due to some changes from F1 it is now this is a new comment, not this is a comment. So this was the change that happened here. So now let me just try to see my git log. So look at that, according to the git log the latest commit is this one, which says that I have merged the branch new branch to my branch master. And another thing to note here is that my branch new branch is still here. This is a modified comment, right? So let me just make it a bit smaller for you so that we can understand it better. Right, so the thing to understand here is that now we have a very big chain. The chain goes like this. C1, after that C2 happened, after that F1 happened, after that C3 had happened, and lastly we had M1. So let us try to see if this is the case here or not. So we got initial comment which was C1, then we added a comment which was C2, then we added this is a modified comment which was in the new branch. So this is my F1, right? And after that we added a new statement which was our commit C3, and finally we did the merging in a new commit, and the commit message which was by default was merge branch new branch. So in this way, we were able to achieve this particular thing. So this is how we do merging, right? This is how we do merging of branches. Okay, so in our last case, merging happened quite beautifully. There was no problem at all, but many a times you might gonna have something called merge conflicts. Merge conflicts happen when a line that you have in your code is totally different from the another commit that you're trying to merge it with. So let us try to see an example and try to understand how to resolve merge conflicts. So right now, we are in the branch, new branch, let's say, and now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just change my file hello.py a bit. I'm just gonna add a new line which is print, let's say, how are you. So this is my line. Okay, so this is what I'm gonna add to my code, and now this is my file hello.py in my new branch, and git status says that I have modified hello.py, so I'm just gonna add it, and then I'm just gonna commit it, added new print statement, something like this. Okay, and now let me just check out to master to show you how does hello.py look like in master. So in my master branch, hello.py looks like this. There is print hello world, and then there is print 1 plus 1, not print how are you. And now what I want is, I just want to merge the latest commit of my branch master with the latest commit of my branch new branch. So basically the merge is now going to happen in my branch called new branch. So let us try to see how this will work out. So git checkout new branch, and now here we are going to do git merge master, git merge master. So what is going to happen actually here is that a new commit will get created here, which will be a combination of F1 and F1 and M1. So M1 and F1 are gonna combine in the new branch to create a new commit. So let us try how does it fares out. So git merge master, and look at that. It says that there is some conflict. So it was trying to auto merge hello.py. It was trying to have the contents of hello.py in both the commits and trying to join them in such a way that nothing wrong happens, but actually something happened. Something happened. It said that automatic merging failed. There was some conflicts. So let us try to see what those conflicts were. So for doing that, we can just open the file to edit, and look at that. What does it say? It says that these lines say that what is happening here. Print how are you. This much part is the part of my commit in my current branch, which is the new branch, and this much part is the content of this particular line in my branch master. So it doesn't know that what should be put right here on this line if we try to merge these two commits. That is the problem. And how do we merge these two commits? So in order to do that, there is a need of some human intervention. Only a human or a coder can tell you that what should be present on this particular line, right? So that is as logical as that. And now it is our responsibility to fix this particular let's say merge conflict. So let's say I've tried to solve this merge conflict by doing this. I just removed this all, and I want my hello.py to look like this in my merging commit. So I just save my file like this, and now let me check my git status. It says that I have modified hello.py. So now git add all, git commit dash m. Now I can give any kind of commit message here. Let me call it resolved merge conflict with master. So this is my let's say commit message, and now let me try to see my git log. So my git log goes like this. It was initial commit, then added a comment. This is a modified comment, and as we went on, added new print statement in which we added how are you statement, and after that we have resolved merge conflict with master. So in this way, we were able to resolve a merge conflict while we were trying to merge the latest commit of master branch to the new branch. Okay, let us move further and try to see some other scenarios. Okay, so now let us say that I created a commit called C4, but I feel like that, oops, I made some mistake and I do not want to have that particular commit. I would rather like to just undo that commit and do my changes at my level and make some other commit at some other time, right? So how do I undo a commit? Let us try to see how to do that. So how do we undo a commit? So right now, get status says that I am on the branch master, nothing to commit, working tree clean. So let me just open hello.py, or let me just create a new file. Okay, cat, let's say abc.txt, in which I'm just gonna write anything, and now that's it. So let us try to see the git status. It says that I have some interact file abc.txt, and I just do git add all, I do git commit. Okay, so before doing anything further, let us try to see how do we let us see that I have added the file abc.txt right now. Then how do I just remove this file from my staging area? Okay, so how do I remove a file from my staging area? It's quite easily actually. All you have to do is git reset head. So git reset head will simply unstage all the files that you have currently staged. Okay, and if you want to selectively unstage a file, then you have to do git reset head and then the name of the file abc.txt in this case. So git reset head will do this for you. Now I have some file and I am just gonna do git add all, then git commit -m added abc.txt, let's say, and now I feel that I made some mistake. I didn't want to add any file called abc.txt. So what do I do now, right? So how do I remove this commit? Because right now the git log says that this is my latest commit. So how do I remove this particular commit? So now the solution is that I can simply do git reset again. So reset is quite a versatile command in git. You can use it at a lot of places. You can use it for unstaging all the files that you have currently staged in the staging area, or you can also use it for resetting any kind of commits that you have made. So all you have to do is git reset, and this is a shortcut for saying that you are referring to the top commit of your let's say master branch, or the branch you are currently in. So git reset head and this particular symbol means that I am referring to the topmost commit. So now git reset head, and now let us try to see git status. Look at that, the commit is gone, and it is now again showing me that I have some file called abc.txt and I can do anything with it right now, right? So in this way we are able to undo any kind of commit by using git reset. Okay, so let us consider another interesting scenario here. Let's not consider that I'm gonna create a file called, let's say, add.py, in which I'm gonna create a function called um, let's say add, in which we take any two objects a b and we just return a plus b. So this is a very simple function in my file add.py, and now in my file hello.py I'm just gonna use this particular function. Let's say I do from add import add, and also I'm just gonna call this function print add 1 comma 1. So this is a very simple thing in which I'm just trying to use the file add.py. So now if I just try to do python python hello.py, something like this happens, hello world 2 and 2. And also an interesting thing happens, that is a pyc file got created, a pyc file called add.pyc got created. It's a basically a bytecode which is created automatically by Python for fast compilation. Actually, you can see my another video about it. I'll put the link in the description below. So now the question is that this is a file and it is not necessary to be added to any project, right? If you're just trying to give your project to any other person, then there is no point of giving the pyc file. So it is basically a file which needs to be ignored. So let us see what is happening right now. If I just try to see my git the status of my git repository, I get something like this. I have modified hello.py, and I have two untracked files, add.py and add.pyc. So let's say by mistake I add both these files like this, git add all, and now I'd say git commit -m added add.py, right? And now I realize that add.pyc is actually not required. Add.pyc needs to be removed. Then what can I do here? In order to remove add.pyc from my git repository, what can I do? I can simply do git rm add.pyc, and now actually the file has been removed from my project folder as well as from my git history. Let me check the git status. It is saying that I have deleted the file called add.pyc, right? So it is saying that I have deleted the file called add.pyc, and now I can have it as a new commit in which I will add all this. I will say git commit -m deleted pyc file. So I say deleted pyc file, and now git status is clear. So in this way, I was able to remove a useless file from my git history by creating a new commit in which I deleted that pyc file. But that is not the solution, because let's say next time I do hello.py, then that pyc file gets created again. And this time it got created in a PyCache folder in which I have add.pyc, right? So this will keep on happening. Then what can I do in this particular case? Now what I have to do here is that I have to create a file called .gitignore in which I have to specify the name of this file or a pattern for this kind of files, and those files will be ignored by Git automatically. So look at that. Git status right now says that there is a folder called PyCache which contains something, right? It contains only pyc files. So now I want to ignore those files. So what can I do is I can write a file called gitignore in which I can write a file called cat.gitignore in which I'm gonna write *pyc, which means that ignore all the files whose extension is pyc. So now if I just try to see my git status, look at that, it is not showing that PyCache folder now. Why? Because PyCache folder contain only pyc files, so those got ignored, and any empty folder has no meaning for Git, and that's why no files are being shown here. So in this way we were able to ignore the pyc files. Let me just create any file with pyc extension here. Let me say touch abc.pyc. Okay, so I just created abc.pyc. Let us try to see git status for that. Look at that, it is not showing that a file called abc.pyc has been created, right? But if I just try to do abc.py, or let's say abd.py, and now I just try to check git status, I get abd.py, right? So in this way, anything that you write inside gitignore will get ignored by the Git and will not be a part of your project, while basically Git is not going to track that particular kind of file. So now Git status says that I have .gitignore. I'm just gonna add .gitignore to my project, and now git commit -m added .gitignore. So you can keep .gitignore in your as a part of your git repo, or you can also just keep it like that. So that is totally your choice, because even if you have not committed .gitignore to your git repository, still it will be doing its job. It will be ignoring all those files which are matching with the content you have put inside .gitignore. So in this way gitignore works, and it's a quite handy tool. So guys, this was my introduction to Git to you. I hope it was quite easy to understand, and this is in no way a totally comprehensive tutorial. It was just like a crash course in which you got to know some basic things that every programmer needs to know about Git and needs to understand about it, right? So I hope all the concepts were clear, and if you still have any doubts, you can put them in the comment section below, and I hope you will start using Git from now on. And yeah, so that's it from this video. Thanks for watching. Thanks for